NSDR is a guided practice that drops you into deep relaxation while you stay awake and aware. Sleep is a loss of consciousness that runs your brain through repair stages like slow wave and REM. NSDR can calm you and restore alertness, but it does not replace the work real sleep does each night. The honest version, people keep asking some version of the same hopeful question. If I only slept 4 hours, can I make up the rest with NSDR? It is a reasonable thing to wish for. NSDR feels deep, it feels restful, and after a session your head is clearer. So surely it is at least a partial swap for the sleep you missed. The short answer is that NSDR and sleep are two genuinely different states doing two different jobs. NSDR is something you do while awake. Sleep is something that happens when you stop being awake. They overlap at the edges, which is exactly why they get confused, but the work they do for your brain and body barely overlaps at all. Worth saying plainly, because the internet rarely does. Even Andrew Huberman, the neuroscientist who popularized the term NSDR, frames it as a recovery tool to use after a poor night, not as a replacement for sleep. The NSDR can replace your sleep framing is something the internet added on top of what he actually said. What each state actually is. Here is the core distinction, side by side. NSDR is a wakeful state. You lie down, follow a recorded voice, slow your breathing, and let your attention drift through your body. Throughout, you stay conscious. You are hovering in the hypnagogic zone, that liminal flicker right at the threshold of sleep, but you do not cross it. If you do tip over and fall asleep, the session technically stopped being NSDR the moment you lost awareness. Most NSDR is Yoga Nidra, a structured relaxation practice that is centuries older than the modern label. Sleep is a loss of consciousness. You are not aware, not following anything, not in control. Your brain cycles through distinct stages, each with its own electrical signature and its own job. This is not a vaguer, deeper version of relaxation. It is a separate operating mode your brain switches into, and it cannot run while you are awake. That is the whole crux. NSDR keeps you on the waking side of the line, and the most important restorative work of sleep only happens on the other side of it. What sleep does that NSDR cannot? When you actually sleep, your brain moves through non-REM stages, N1, N2, N3, and REM, repeating the cycle through the night. Two pieces of that machinery matter most here. Deep sleep, slow wave sleep, stage N3, is the body's repair shift. According to the Sleep Foundation, N3 is considered the most critical stage for regenerating the body and brain. It is when the body releases growth hormone and carries out tissue, muscle, and bone repair, and it helps regulate glucose metabolism, immune function, and memory. The slow delta waves of this stage are a brain state you can only reach by being asleep. Sleep consolidates memory. Across non-REM sleep, the brain replays and files newly learned material, stabilizing it into something durable and clearing space for tomorrow. This reactivation is orchestrated by the timed interplay of slow oscillations, sleep spindles, and ripples, hardware that does not switch on during waking rest. Sleep appears to clean the brain. A growing body of work on the glymphatic system suggests the brain flushes metabolic waste, including beta amyloid, far more efficiently during sleep than during wakefulness. One foundational review reports that glymphatic activity is dramatically enhanced in the sleep state and suppressed when awake. This area is still being debated and refined, so it is fair to call it promising rather than settled, but the direction of evidence points to a clearance function that wakeful rest does not provide. None of these, the deep sleep repair shift, memory consolidation, or the proposed waste clearance, happen during NSDR, because all of them require you to actually be asleep. What NSDR is genuinely good for, this is not a knock on NSDR. It is a real, useful practice that just has a different job description. NSDR reliably shifts you toward parasympathetic rest and digest activity through slow breathing and a body scan, which lowers the cognitive and physical arousal that keeps you wired. That is its strongest, best supported effect. There is also a small, much hyped PET study from 2002 in which a yoga nidra session was associated with roughly a 65% rise in dopamine. It is worth knowing the caveat. That study had only 8 experienced practitioners, no control group, and has never been replicated. So it is honest evidence that something interesting happens, not proof that NSDR reliably refills your dopamine tank. What NSDR is good for, in plain terms, taking the edge off after a bad night, restoring some alertness and calm so you can function, calming acute stress quickly before a stressful event or after a hard day, resetting focus in the afternoon dip without a full nap and its grogginess, practicing the wind down that makes it easier to fall asleep later. On that last point, the systematic review evidence for Yoga Nidra is promising but built on small, methodologically limited trials, so the fair claim is that it is a low-risk practice with consistent positive signals for sleep and anxiety, not a clinically proven treatment. When to use which? A simple way to decide: tired and it is bedtime? Sleep. Nothing substitutes for it. An NSDR right before bed is best used as a wind-down ramp into sleep, not as the destination. Slept badly and have to get through the day? NSDR. A 10 to 60-minute session can restore enough alertness and calm to carry you, even though it will not erase the sleep debt. Then prioritize real sleep that night. Wired in the middle of the day, can't switch off? NSDR. It is the faster, lower-risk reset, and unlike a nap, it rarely leaves you groggy. Chronically not sleeping enough? Treat that as a sleep problem to solve, not an NSDR problem to manage. NSDR can support you, but stacking deep rest on top of a real sleep deficit is a patch, not a fix. The cleanest mental model is that NSDR is a complement to sleep, not a competitor. Use it to lower arousal, recover some alertness, and ease yourself towards sleep. Then let actual sleep do the deep stage repair, memory filing, and overnight cleanup that only it can do. This is educational information, not medical advice. If you are routinely exhausted, sleeping poorly, or relying on rest practices to paper over a real sleep shortfall, that is worth raising with a clinician. The easiest way to feel the difference for yourself is to do one short session and notice how calm but clear you are at the end. Awake the whole time, settled but not asleep. A guided Yoga Nidra recording does the structuring for you, so you can simply lie down, follow the voice, and let the rest happen. That is the short version. The full sourced article and a free guided session to try tonight are linked in the description. Rest well.